Hi, this is Brook Dain from the South Bay Scooter Posse. You're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, the podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail.
Yeah. Bar reviews, scooter talk, ghost stories. Couldn't be much simpler than that. But here's a deeper description. We're an independent podcast that follows a group of modern and vintage Vespa riders in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns. This is not smart or safe, but it is a touch of fun. As a disclaimer, we never encourage drinking and scooting, and keep our intake, or try to, about 1 an hour.
Yeah, that's probably.
Sort of.
I'm still not sure about that disclaimer, but whatever. Welcome to episode 33, Brook Dain, Adventure Rider. We will be talking to Dain about his rides to Pakistan, India, and Egypt, all on his Vespa scooter. Too bad that Muslim religion forbids alcohol. Or we could do a pub scoot there, too.
Oh, yes, we could. And we'd have to sneak it on a plane, bring it there, and drink it. Be fine. I'm sure, what could possibly go wrong?
Somebody once said you can never have too much Jaeger.
That's right. That would have been Molly. So today in studio, we have Scout Shelbert.
Hello.
Lizard Murray.
Hey.
Pendominono. It's been a long time.
Hello there.
And me, the purposeful prognosticator of the paranormal scooter world.
You've given yourself quite a title there.
You spelled
You
purposeful
Ed
wrong.
McMahon,
I've been wanting to use prognosticator for a long time.
Was
I
that
finally put it
Jimmy
in
the
there.
Greek is not used anymore? Or what?
Is Jimmy alive?
No,
So
indeed.
let's talk about what's going on, Mark, and let's start with your team. You surprised us.
We hit a 3-game win streak and snuck into the playoffs. Yeah, so we're still alive.
I thought you were all done with the season. I was kind of excited about the fact that you'd be back on the grid.
No, not for a couple more days anyway.
So who's your star? What happened? What changed?
We outscored them for a change. That's the only difference.
Oh, that's exciting. I mean, how
You-
far do you think
that
you'll
you
go?
and-
Are we going to Yakima?
No, that you and Lizard stopped showing up drunk to games.
we did you a favor.
I ate the lucky popcorn. I think you won when I was there.
Yeah, we did.
I still have a piece of kernel in my teeth. I'm trying to get a piece of kernel. I mean, a kernel in my teeth.
Who's the Colonel? That's not your teeth.
It was Keith that went out last night. So what's going on with you, Lizard? What's new? What's happening?
You know what? I spent last week in Scottsdale, played some golf, went to the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
Wow. Biggest party in golf. And any golfer should have that on his or her bucket list, because that was a real party.
I bet you they cleaned up really well, too.
Well, yeah, they did.
So tell us just a little bit. What was the funnest thing you did down there?
Just being at the tournament and witnessing how many fans go there for the party and not for the golf. And it was good.
So were there any women in high heels stepping on the golf tees at all?
There was a few. Yeah.
So I saw a little video. Is it hole 16?
16. Yeah.
Anything goes?
Anything goes for sure.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Crazy. They tempt those golfers.
Yes, they do.
So in Pendominono, Keith, you have not been with us for a while. And once you kind of threw in the towel because we edited one small piece of one comment, you felt you were on the, cutting room floor. But what's been going on?
Well, you know what? Excuse me. Just
He's getting choked up.
I am getting choked up. It's been wonderful to get home, and have been looking forward to getting in here with you guys. Been traveling a little bit. Spent last weekend up in the northeast part of this country, and I think we need to do a pub scoot up there.
You were in what area?
Portland, Maine, primarily.
And it is a whole bunch of bars and small, cool old towns, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness, it is.
That is like Disneyland for us.
Can I just add a parallel worlds vision that I just had? 20 years ago, Bobby Knight got shit canned from Indiana, and he went back to Indiana today at halftime for their game and got honored, and all his players were there. Keith is now back for our podcast after a 2-year break.
He's the Bobby Knight.
He's
Like,
the Bobby
except
Knight of our podcast.
Right.
He's back and going to give it another
Is he going to
whirl.
throw a chair?
Well, Bobby's not. Keith may.
I'm not allowed to make that much noise.
Wow. So when you say you're glad to get back here, you were living down in Sacramento, and you had been for like 20 years.
That is
and
correct.
so you've moved back up into the neighborhood here, and we're riding a lot. We're chasing around a little bit, but you're also traveling. You were in Hawaii, you were in California, and where else?
Maine.
Maine, as mentioned.
And I'm heading to Miami next week. I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Hey, did you
Maybe you
guys?
can get that kernel out.
Colonel's going with me. Did you get a chance to listen to Steve Williams, the author of Scooter in the Sticks, the blog guy, on our last podcast?
Oh, the one that I listened to the actual interview?
Yeah.
I listened
Check
to
him
it.
out at scooterandthesticks.com, especially his last post, all about passion and podcasts. It's really good.
I like
was nicely
Steve was
done.
nice.
because it's he mentioned our little passion project in there. So that was real. Thanks, Steve. Hope you're listening to us now.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Are you following us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, Mark?
I'm trying to.
You are not,
I'm looking.
are you?
I'm looking.
You are not. The rest of you, we'd really appreciate your reviews and ratings. It helps us climb the rankings. And again,
What is our ranking this
Where could
this
we
month?
go? Where could we go? Because we are the number one, really, paranormal podcast in the world that features scooters and bars. So
As
there
long
you
as
go.
we don't
A
have
number
to add
one.
a
And you know,
fourth moniker.
speaking of which, I'd like to mention that we were recently featured on the podcast app Player FM.
What does that mean?
Well, it's like, Overcast or any podcast app that you put on your smartphone. This one's called Player FM, and we're on the list of best haunting podcasts.
No way.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool because I think of us as a scooter podcast.
What was that?
And Dominomo is here.
I adjusted my mic. I'm sorry.
There you go. That was a little bit of
Recap?
fun. Yeah, with shamelessly plugging ourselves on our own podcast right here.
Well, that's how you stay number one.
And if you remember last time, we also featured some other scooter podcasts.
Yeah. A little review.
Yeah, we talked about all the ones that are out there, why we were number one, which we, it's pretty much a guess, but I would assume it's true. And we got a nice note from the people from Sick Scooting in SoCal podcast.
Oh.
And they reached out. They're sending us some swag, which is really nice. So thank you guys for that. However, we neglected to mention them on our other scooter podcast.
Uh-oh.
Well, they were brand new, so they weren't even out yet.
Maybe we should send them some swag.
We're going to.
Oh, wait.
Or a sticker.
We don't have
I got
any.
a sticker. I have a sticker making its way to them. So, let's just say here's to them for their first podcast that just came out, their very first episode. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and just about anywhere you listen. And I want you guys to know at Six Scooters that we rated you on Apple. We would like the same to happen for
there
us.
we go.
Wink, wink.
Tit for tat.
That's how it goes. So good luck, Andy and crew at the Sick Scooting in SoCal podcast. I'm sure you'll pick up at least one listener from this particular podcast. Okay, Sarah from Scooter Life Podcast, who didn't answer our messenger message. What do you think of that?
Oh, you're calling her out.
I'm calling her out. And welcome and thanks to our new listeners in Romania, Slovakia, and Azerbaijan.
Well, it's a good thing the communists fell. We'd never hear from otherwise.
Oh, my goodness. I think it's pretty brave of them to put us on their speakers there. Who would have thought that riding these little scooters looking for haunted bars would turn into a global phenomenon?
My only guess is that everyone wants to take a nap at some point.
It's one of those, it's like meditating.
Yes,
You
it's
can
a
go right to
lullaby.
sleep.
Ready, cool.
Yeah, very cool. So if anybody has a ghost story they want to share with us, just go to our website, hit the button, and send it to
to the
us,
script.
or record it on your voice recorder and send it to us. There's all kinds of ways to find us. We are everywhere.
Could I throw something in?
Sure.
Okay. So last Saturday night in Portland, Maine, at Miyake Sushi Bar, I met a group of 37 riders in Maine, riding everything from ruckuses to Vespas, all sizes. I don't remember your names, but I remember you, and I told you to listen to the podcast. So I hope you do.
Do a
there
little
you
call
go.
out to Portland, Maine.
Keith
Portland,
is out
Maine.
there working.
Oh, look
Absolutely.
at you go.
Wow.
This is why you got invited back.
Maybe.
This is Megan at Red Star Taco Bar in Tacoma, Washington, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars. Perfect.
It's been a while since we've seen Megan.
Yeah, we need to get down there to the Red Star. There's one in Fremont, Seattle, too. There's 2 of them. At least 2.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not really a chain. They just own 2 restaurants.
We need to go north
We do. Now?
tomorrow.
Okay, let's do it. So what's this time? What time happens about
I know
now?
what time it is.
It is
Time for
Scooter News. You almost said spooky news. You can't even get that
I'm
straight.
afraid of the news.
All right, here we go. Here's some scooter news. Vespa USA announced that it's making the buying process easier for potential customers with its online store.
How is that possible?
So while the Vespa
Portland made it pretty
Curious,
easy.
yeah, they did, but you still got to go to Portland. This way, you just buy it and it comes through your computer.
Whoa.
They email your new scooter to you.
Virtual ownership. It's got to be way cheaper.
Yeah, you just go to Vespa.com or wherever and check out all the different bikes that you may want. And I don't know, you're just able to check up stock availability, promotions, place orders for bikes, accessories, apparel, everything right online.
Are they taking the dealer out of the game?
So let's just say you're perusing models and decide you want a specific model, right?
Yeah.
You choose the color, then you add it to your cart. Next, you'll get a confirmation pop-up on screen to let you know that you've been successful in your selection mission. I'm kind of using the words that I read online. From there, you can either shop for accessories or go straight to checkout. When you choose checkout, you have to walk through each of the steps in order to hit the confirm button before Vespa USA Store will let you advance to the next step. For example, the first thing you'll see is a list of items in your cart. You have to confirm this before you can select the dealer by entering your zip code. It then walks you through the promotions, including financing deals, accessory bonuses with new Vespa purchases and stuff like that. And this step is also where you'll be invited to apply for financing. In your case, Mark, you just get a hold of your wife, Molly, and she'll take care of everything.
Thanks, Molly.
If you do choose this route, you must insert an application ID number to continue the purchase process. Where do you get the application ID number?
Molly?
Molly. If you're interested in a new Vespa, this new system is already live at the official VespaUSAstore.com. So check it out and make sure you pick our friends at Vespa Portland as your dealer for the final delivery. They didn't pay me much.
Andrew.
He's got to buy me a beer for that one. Any comments on that? What do you think about that?
I think I'm going to the store.
It's a sign of the times, and it's pretty slick. I mean, it makes the process easier, but
Yeah, but you can't sit on it.
Well, you can when you get there.
Yeah, but still.
are you
already
committed?
bought it.
How do you
you're
know
committed.
you want it until you sit on it?
Yeah.
I don't know. See, that's the thing is that's why you're old. But the
I picked Molly that
millennials-
way.
You sat on her?
It's a good fit.
Oh, this works. So here's another thing. I found this and I just couldn't resist putting it in Scooter News, but it's kind of a blend of spooky scooter news and spooky news and scooter news. But there's a place in Pennsylvania called Amish County Scooter Tours, Amish Country Scooter Tours.
Would that be Amish?
Amish.
Might be.
I don't live there.
I've heard of those people.
I guess you have to push your scooter around. You
What do you
can't
mean,
run it.
those people?
You hook it to a horse.
So you explore the back roads, farmlands, covered bridges, and more in one of Lancaster's favorite outdoor adventure tours.
And not a fucking bar to be found.
Everything. They also do a spooky Amish scooter tour through October.
Those
So
aren't
they
those
take
two
you
aren't
out
the same.
They take you out at night and they talk about all the haunted areas of the Amish community. So you can go to StrasburgScooters.com and sign up.
That's a lot
We
of
need
beard
to
talk.
apologize to all of our Amish listeners.
Exactly. My next table's going to be fucked up.
Our Amish.
That's a cousin group.
Oh my God. All right.
You've been reading along?
I apologize. You know, the one thing I wrote these notes and I never reread them, so I apologize.
Well, you need
Thanks
to
for
get
the
more
correction.
prepared next time.
It
And
is a-
I get to edit this. So
It is
there
a
you
pretty
go.
well-known community in America.
They make some good furniture. So what happens after Scooter News? It's
That
time
would be
for Spooky News. All right, guys. This comes from Mysterious Universe, but ghosts come in many forms, from orbs to mystery lights to poltergeists to apparitions. There are countless shapes and sizes and ways they seem to present themselves. But there is seemingly a subsection of ghostly phenomena that relates to either phantom vehicles. There's a whole bunch of them, and the apparitions that serve as their drivers. Did you know in Japan that there are taxi drivers that are picking up people?
You sure that's not J Payne?
That are picking up people that were from Fukushima? Is that where the big meltdown
Yes,
was?
that is correct.
Did I say it right?
Yes, Fukushima.
Right, and they're picking up passengers, and then the passengers are disappearing in the taxis. Not a driver, but I'm just saying. Anyway, one subset yet again of this phenomena is the ghost rider.
Oh,
There
ghost
are
rider.
the cases of specters and spirits roaring down the road on their phantom mechanized mounts. That's where you were last night, Keith.
Sounds like a lot of money.
Revving and thrumming away into the night, just as they had in life. It's certainly entrenched within the dark realm of the dead. I'm reading this part. It's unclear just what laws of the unexplained there are that allow these riders to take their vehicles with them into the afterlife, but what is known is that there are plenty of stories claiming they are out there still raising hell even in death.
Wow.
Well, you know what? I'm taking my 300 to the afterlife.
Well, you know, we're going to be interviewing a little bit later Brook Dain, and I think he has a story about your big bike.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Perhaps the most circulated tale of phantom riders is that of the headless ghost rider of Elmore, Ohio.
Oh, sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode.
I think
Yeah,
it was
no
from the
kidding.
Blues Brothers, wasn't it?
Those darn kids.
This is a town of about 1,500 people, and it's a very straight-ahead farming community. And it would be a place you wouldn't even give any thought to as you drove through it. Yet, there is said to be a rather eerie paranormal phenomena pervading the area. It is here, along dark country backroads, where a mysterious, headless phantom is said to tear about on its motorcycle to invoke terror to those who see it.
Huh. Now, who sees it?
Well,
Believers or
Not the headless guy.
Not that.
well,
he has no eyes?
so the Ghost Rider of Elmore has its own tragic background story. The soldier was away overseas at war during World War I. He survived, and he came back and went to his parents' farm, getting ready to go see his girlfriend or his wife. There's two different stories, and who was waiting for him, and you know what happens, right? He gets his hands on a motorcycle. He rides from his parents' farm into the night to see his hot girl, beloved. She didn't live very far away across a small bridge called the Mud Creek Bridge.
Muddy
When he got
waters.
there, she finds, and he wanted to sneak up and surprise her. This was the big mistake. So he pushes his motorcycle up. He goes up to the house.
Somebody's there.
He's hitting it, right?
Uh-oh.
Yep.
That actually happened to me.
But you still got your head.
I still got my head.
So,
But somebody else was getting my head then.
so he finds out she's with somebody else. He's crushed. He's betrayed. He speeds off on his motorcycle in
He
a
didn't
fit
go
of
in?
rage and sadness. No, he's just hurt. I mean, he survives and then he gets killed. I mean, so he loses control of his bike and he launches off the bridge into a ravine. The body is later found to have been decapitated, either by the crash or the barbed wire on a fence below, or by a wire that had been strung across a bridge as a malicious prank. Again, depending on which version of the story
Probably his
I
wife or
researched.
girlfriend.
The main point is that he lost his head in the incident and would apparently never get it back, even in the afterlife.
Wow.
So, since then, it's said that this rider...
Did he wear an overcoat? Because like the headless people typically have an overcoat.
Right, on a horse.
Yes.
Right. No,
Or a bike.
I don't know. I mean, it was summertime. No, it was March. So anyway, since then, he can be seen taking the same route as that fateful night, minus his head, every March 21st, which is believed to be the day of the tragic accident.
That's not the St. Ides Day, is it?
So now, you would know better than I would. You're
I don't think
Swiss.
so.
Apparently, people flock to the bridge every March 21st to catch a glimpse of the ghostly rider. I bet you they have a drink when they do that.
They've
And some
got to,
people ride
yes.
their bikes out there. So that's almost like what we do.
It fits. It fits.
So on top of that, there's this paranormal researcher knuckleheads. They figured out how to summon this ghost. I guess if you blink your lights 3 times and honk your horn, you can make this guy come riding through. And they were able to see him 3 different times. And one of them, they even ran a string across the bridge, and he rode through, and it didn't affect the string. It didn't break or
You
anything.
sure this is not a bunch of horn honey?
Didn't you try that horn trick when we were down in the Delta
Yes,
one
he
time?
He was calling the headless rider.
So he rode through. They summoned him again, and this time, one of the guys stood on the road, and the motorcycle ran,
challenged him,
and hit him, and knocked him into the ditch. He was disoriented.
Really?
He was confused, but he was still an idiot. So
Once
anyway,
an idiot, always an idiot.
so that is Elmore, Ohio, and the ghost. Now there are more stories of motorcycle ghost riders. I didn't want to take up the whole podcast to do that, but if you go to mysteriousuniverse.com, and this is the byline of Brent Swancer, who wrote this. Brent Swancer, you can get.
Did one of our listeners call this in, or what? How'd you get this?
Well, usually you guys provide me some really good research
Right,
and some backup.
we're always working hard,
You're working
yeah.
hard.
But not this time.
Not this time. So I Googled it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just said headless ghost riders of Elmore, and I found
I
it.
think Nicolas Cage did a documentary about ghost riders.
He did. And he kept going. He was saving lives. He was like a superhero.
He was a good guy.
He's a great actor.
Oh, so there you go.
Gum that do take a bite.
Yes, she does.
We need a transition.
We do. Should we put it right here?
Who are we going to listen to?
I don't know. I my thing went away. Why don't you talk for a moment?
Your
between
lucky
yourselves?
wife.
Is a transition the same thing as a drink?
Yeah, have a
It
drink.
can
I
be.
need a transition drink.
Let's call Dain.
So we're going to call Brook Dain. And
Okay, so spooky news is over.
yeah, spooky news is over. What do you think of it, though? I talked about motorcycles and headless people.
Reminds me of that one story you had of the dog in the bridge. in
That was
Seattle.
true. That was me. That happened to me.
Yeah, I thought you
should
were
have
the
played
idiot
that.
in the middle of the bridge taking on some dog. And
All right, we're going to talk to Brook.
oh,
Brook
end of the
Dain.
story.
He's ridden vintage and modern Vespas all over the world, including Pakistan, India, and Egypt, amongst other places here in the United States, and the Cannonball, whatever. He also manages South Bay Scooter Posse in San Jose, and he gets to do all the things we wish we could. Why is that?
Gum and job.
Okay, let's get after it with Brook Dain, adventure rider.
Let's call him.
Hello.
Hey, Brook, how you doing?
I am doing well.
Brook Dain, adventure rider.
Hey, that's sort of a thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Hey, you're sitting with myself, Mark, and another Mark, who is on the podcast. We call him Scout, and we have Lizard. Lonnie is his name, and Pendominono. We don't know where that name came from, but he's also kind of an adventure rider, Keith. So say hi, guys.
It
Hi,
sounds
Brooke. Hello,
quite
Brooke.
formidable.
Yeah, there's 4 of us to be formidable. You're right. So
I promise I will try and be as coherent as possible.
you sound great. You had a big day today. What happened?
That's it. I happened upon. I've been very lucky in my Vespa years that I have found the right deals on scooters at the right time, and they've always come out of the middle of nowhere. I've been thinking about a new scooter lately, and just so happens yesterday I was cruising Craigslist, and a local Indian dealer, big dealer, Spirit Motorcycles here in San Jose, California, had a 2020 Vespa HP touring model, exactly the one I wanted. Somebody bought it for their wife, and the wife didn't want it. So 6 months later, with 140 miles on it, they turned it in. I just bought it for a big discount.
Wow.
So much that I had to buy it whether I needed it or not.
Well, that's great. You know, what you were doing is your vibrational awareness was syncing up with that because you'd been thinking about a new scooter, and because you were so positive, you were open to it, and it happened.
I've been thinking about sex and all that.
Whatever you think about will happen, right?
Good for you. So we wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of these huge rides you've taken. I initially contacted you about your Egypt ride. But then I find out you've done India and you've done Pakistan. And, of course, you are planning on the Cannonball again, right?
Yeah, this will be my second Cannonball. So
wow.
I did the 2018. Boy, where do we start?
Well, let's start with Pakistan. That was the earliest one, right, of your world travels?
Yeah, Pakistan was the earliest. It came out middle of nowhere. A guy named Moin Khan, Pakistani, who came here to the Bay Area in California to go to college. He had always wanted a big American motorcycle, or, CCs on motorcycles tend to be much smaller in other countries. So when he got over here, he bought himself a motorcycle. He was a little dismayed at his time in America where, every time somebody figured out he was a Pakistani, they said, "Oh, are you a terrorist?" No. And he was like, "No, just because it ends with Istan doesn't mean it's full of bad guys. We were your allies when you came over here, Anyways, when it came time for him to go home, he figured out that he couldn't afford to ship his motorcycle. So he took off from San Francisco and rode it back home around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, when he got home, he realized one of the things he could do to sort of be an ambassador of Pakistan was to invite all his motorcycle friends from America to come ride the Himalayas with him, which is absolutely amazing, by the way, and see what Pakistan's really like, and that it, is a beautiful country filled with wonderful people.
It looked like you had a really great ride and a great time.
It was, and we were his first scooter-only ride, so that's how I got attached to it.
So he did it all. He does it also with motorcycles now as a kind of a gig.
Yeah, he does. He does a couple of tours a year. Last year he did an all-female ride.
That must have been satisfying.
For somebody.
Well, great.
You're going to get me in trouble.
No, we're not going to get in trouble. Well, how long was that ride, Brooke?
That was about 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it started in Islamabad and went up the Karakoram Highway, the old Silk Road, and we went to the Kunjarab Pass, which is the highest paved border crossing in the world, and then back to Islamabad.
Was that the 14,000-foot high pass you went over?
Yeah, well, we didn't go over. We just went to the top. One of them, I think, we went over Babusar Pass, which is pretty insanely high, and I don't remember how high it is at the moment. But we actually can't go over Kunjarab Pass because you go into China, and Americans aren't allowed to go to China from that border crossing.
Especially now.
Right. One thing we did that is sort of a feather in the cap is we rode the Vespas across the rugged area called the Deosai Plains, or it's also nicknamed the Roof of the World. And as far as we know, the 4 of us that were on the trip are the only people to have ever ridden Vespas across Deosai.
Wow.
So,
wow. What is that, though? Is it a high plain, a plateau, or?
It's a high plateau, and once you get up there, it's just desolation. It's as far as the eye can see of just rolling sort of grasslands.
Hey, Brooke, was that with all the unpaved roads, or that was a different part of Pakistan?
Well, the unpaved road is a weird thing in Pakistan. They take it very loosely. So yeah, there are just about every paved road. Every couple of miles, you hit an unpaved segment. And of course, it's the Himalayas, so it's hard for them to keep up with landslides and every other crazy thing.
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos where guys are like 2,000 feet with sheer rock walls, and they're driving a truck where they're directing people around. It gives me a stomachache sometimes when I look at it. You guys were riding vintage scooters around in that area, right?
Yeah, we were, because it was the only thing available in Pakistan. Yeah, one of the roads we rode the Skardu-Gilgit Road, which I think at the time was rated the 5th most dangerous road in the world. It was hours and hours of just screaming in your head, "I should not be here, I should not be here."
Wow. So what did you ride? Which model? It was a 2-stroke. I could see the smoke.
Yeah, it was a 2-stroke. Mine was a mid-1970s Vespa 150 Super.
Nice. And it ran the whole time? It looked like there were some breakdowns. I saw one crash on the video.
We had breakdowns. We had crashes. We had, we had a follow van on that ride that actually had a full-time Vespa mechanic along with us.
Smart move.
That is a very smart move.
Yeah, it was fun. Pakistan was a great adventure. I would recommend if you can look up Moyne and his rides. Agenda.com.
A different agenda.com? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
How many miles was that ride, Brooke?
You know what? It wasn't really that far, but with all the off-road and all that, I think it was like 1,400 kilometers.
So 6 miles?
So, I mean...
Times 0.62.
Up and back, I think maybe, 1,000 miles.
And how many bars are on that route?
It's a Muslim country.
It's a Muslim country, but I don't want to say anything because, there are people there whose lives I don't want to affect. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily a totally dry company.
There we go.
Understood.
There is a chance then.
So from there, you headed off to Egypt.
Yeah, headed off to Egypt. Egypt, I did the Cross Egypt Challenge in... When was that? That was
17. Looks like winter of 17.
October of 2017. Cross Egypt Challenge was fun. That's run by a company called Cross World Challenges. The guy's name is Ahmad El Zobi, and he comes almost every year over to AmeriVespa and entices people because that's predominantly a scooter ride.
Which one did you enjoy more?
They're very different.
They look different.
So, Pakistan was the Wild West, and we were very free and open to, there were times in Pakistan where I was alone on a road, because people ride at different rates and whatnot. The Cross Egypt Challenge is very much like a group ride. You're always with people.
That had a chase van as well, it looked like, right? They had...
Oh, yeah, that is a well-produced... It's a big deal in Egypt. So
it looked like it.
And you get news interviews and all that. And that's something they do every year. I think this coming year is the 10th anniversary of it.
You must not work, Brooke. You get to go and do anything you want to do. What is it that you do?
Are you
a videographer? I've seen you with cameras. What's going on?
I am the creative services manager for a government agency.
He's a spy, guys.
Which means it's a law enforcement agency in Silicon Valley. So I'm the in-house artist for a bunch of cops.
Wow.
And I'm very fortunate in that I work like mad when I'm working, and when I can take time off, I can go off on crazy adventures.
Yeah, it looks like it. So what's your favorite memory of Egypt? Two questions. What's your favorite memory, and what did you ride on that ride?
Okay. Well, what I rode was easy. They had sim fiddles for us to ride, which is I think it's a 125 cc. And again, it's a big event in Egypt, and the bikes were just all covered. I think mine said, officially sponsored by Marriott, which is hilarious.
Do they do background checks?
But I'll start with a short little fun story about that has more to do with bars than it does anything else. But when I was just about ready to take off for Egypt, about 3 days before, the airlines called me or texted me with a simple text of, "Hey, your flight's been canceled.
Oh.
You're no longer going."
Oh.
And of course, I got on the phone immediately in a panic. No, I have a big thing. I have to get there. I have to be there in 3 days. Person on the phone said, yeah, I can get you there. but you're going to have to leave in 2 hours. Is that all right?
Oh, wow.
And I unfortunately am one of these weirdos where if I'm going on a trip, I'm all packed and have the bag by the door 3 weeks in advance. Like I take care of these things. So, anyways, I said, "Yep, I can be at the airport in 2 hours." And they said, "But there's a 24-hour layover in Frankfurt, Germany. Will that be all right?"
Ausgesprochen.
You're paying for the hotel in Frankfurt, Germany? Oh yeah, we'll take care of everything.
Well, yeah.
I like it.
And I said, fine. And then I realized, this happens in October, so I've got 324 hours in October in Germany.
Wow.
So
It's a good way to prime your pumps.
I showed up in Egypt with a hangover, and
And another Muslim country, so it wasn't. I mean, the hotels have liquor over there, but not out in the general public. So you probably got over it pretty soon.
There was much more. There was a lot of beer in Egypt. They have Saqqara Gold, which is like their. I mean, it's basically a Heineken, I think.
Do they serve it cold or is it warm?
Depends on where you are.
If you're in the Sahara, it's warm.
Yeah.
Hey, Brooke, you didn't confuse the Sphinx from sphincter, did you? While in Egypt?
No, but one thing I'll say about it is it was very small.
I'm not even going to ask which one.
Anyone?
Yeah. Here we go.
It's surprising. That was one of the things that really surprised me about Egypt is the pyramids are
Sorry, those are
outrageously
crickets.
large.
They are very, very
you can't-
large. Is that what you said?
You can't fathom how big they are. And like all the photos you ever see of the Sphinx, it looks huge, right?
Yeah.
Well, it is about the size of a 2-story house.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And all the photos you see, you also think that the Sphinx is right there with the pyramids. But it isn't. The pyramids are like a mile behind the Sphinx.
Wow.
So in those photos, the Sphinx is right next to the person who's taking the picture, and then the pyramids still look huge a mile in the distance.
So you actually need a scooter to go between them.
Yeah, you do.
So that's what you brought out of Egypt is the Sphinx is very small.
The Sphinx is very small.
All right, let's talk about your India ride, which is one I had no idea about, and you don't. I did sort of cruise your Facebook page, but I didn't see anything about India on there. Did I just miss it?
I know I'm just terrible at social media.
Okay.
Me too.
Mark doesn't even use it except to look over my shoulder.
No, it's funny because I always try to go by the moniker ADV Scooter. I have a Facebook page for ADV Scooter and all that. I have the website ADV Scooter, but I don't update it. I'm too busy having adventures to write about it.
There you go.
That's good.
Well, tell us about India.
India was great. Again, it was by the same people who do Cross Egypt Challenge. It was the Cross India Challenge. And it was the first time they'd ever done it. It was 2 weeks of riding around the state of Rajasthan in northern India. It was last March. And India is absolutely the craziest riding I've ever done.
I would be afraid to ride in India.
Yeah, it was terrifying. It really was. It is definitely one of those where the caste system is in full effect.
Really?
And anybody on a scooter, their life is worthless.
Kind of like home.
Yeah, we're invisible here too.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Saw a lot of interesting things. Thinking probably the one you guys will enjoy most is we went to a thing called the Bullet Baba Shrine. And it's a roadside attraction outside of Jodhpur. And the story is that a man named Om Bana crashed his Royal Enfield motorcycle and was killed They ran it into a tree,
That'll do it.
and there may have been alcohol involved. After the crash site was cleared, the motorcycle was dragged away, and the motorcycle disappeared the very next day and reappeared at the crash site.
Wow.
And so they dragged it away again. The police impounded it and locked it up. And the very next day, the chains from the motorcycle were found cut, and they found the motorcycle back at the crash site.
Wow.
So now there is actually a shrine there. They have the motorcycle. They call it the Bullet Baba. And people stop by, and it's a traveler's, you can get blessed for safe travel. They sort of revere Om Bana, the guy who was killed at this crash site. And so the ghost of Om Bana still rides his motorcycle on the highway.
And did you stop and get blessed?
I did, yeah.
And you are still with
Yeah.
us. So that is great. It works. Great story. So tell us just what's coming up, what's happening with the South Bay Scooter Posse. You're highly involved in that.
Yeah. We're a San Jose-based scooter club. The San Jose, or the Bay Area here in California, is pretty active scooter. We've got a number of different scooter groups, Vespa Club Los Gatos, the San Francisco Scooter Girls.
That's
Everybody
co-ed
gets along
too.
really well. What's that?
He said it's co-ed, the
That's
San
co-ed.
Francisco Scooter Girls. Yeah, there's a few guys I follow down there, but originally we met you. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we met up at Amerivest.
Yeah, you and Aaron and the group of you.
Yeah.
Robot was up
I
there
think
from
we had-
San Diego.
I think we had just found the podcast, or you guys were relatively new, right? And
We still are.
We fanboyed you a little.
Yeah, it was great.
We were like, "Oh, you guys are awesome! We love you."
And it helped so much. We're now
So
the
you were
number one
lying?
scooter podcast in the world that features ghosts and bars. So yeah,
I think you know what? If you guys lose that title, you're doing something really wrong.
oh, I know.
Okay, well, nice talking to you.
Just wait.
So when is the Cannonball Run, Brooke?
The Cannonball is in July.
All right, we'll be on our ride.
How many
think
days are generally scheduled for that?
The Cannonball is 10 days. This year, I think it's 4,400 miles.
Wow.
So we're going to average around 440 miles a day.
That's arithmetic.
As opposed to my other rides, which are, sort of adventure. You stop, you eat, you do things. The Cannonball's just insanity. It's get on the bike at 6 a.m., get off at 10 p.m.,
Wow.
get up and do it again the next day.
And then
yeah.
everybody goes straight to bed, of course, right?
Oh, it's how much torture can you endure?
So where can we find, or where can our listeners find more information on all this stuff? I mean, there's Cannonball, there's ADV Scooters, there's South Bay Scooter Posse.
Yeah, probably I'm ADV Scooter. I'm probably most active on Facebook. South Bay Scooter Posse. Our Facebook page is the best way to follow us. Look up Crossworld Challenges, Scooter Cannonball Run, or A Different Agenda. Those are all websites.coms.
That's great. And you got a new scoot today.
I did, yeah. That's. I'm trying to hold in my excitement.
You're waiting to get us off the phone so you can get back on that. What's the weather like
So I
down
can-
there today?
It's nice. It's in the low 60s and super sunny.
Oh, good for you. All right. Well, Brook Dain, adventure writer, thank you so much for your time. Guys, do
thank
you have
you.
anything else for him?
Oh, that was awesome stories.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Brooke.
thank you very much. Ride safe.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
It was
Thank you.
fun.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Bye.
What an adventurer.
He is an adventure writer.
He's got real rides.
He's got cred.
Dry rides, but good rides.
Yeah.
He's got serious cred in the scooter.
Oh my
industry.
gosh.
Yeah.
There was something that didn't even come up is that Scootering magazine did an article where they came in and there was some mud run they did, and they even quoted him in there.
Oh, really?
Which is an international publication.
So he's got print cred
as well. Yeah. So he's pretty impressive guy, and he got a new scooter today. Yeah, but
how many? I forgot. We should ask him how many he's got.
Yeah, we should have. But I do know that the scooter that he had been riding, he had over 50,000 miles on it.
Wow!
And its nickname was Butter, I believe.
Ooh, Butter.
Butterface.
You're butter off without it.
You're butter off without it. And the Sphinx is small.
Oh, who knew? It always looked tight, but I didn't know it was so small.
He's got a small Sphinx. What do they call it?
Complex.
Complex. Yeah, no. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Dain Cook.
Yes.
Brook Dain.
No, Brook Dain was a good interview.
Yeah.
Another
Very
one.
impressive.
Yeah.
I think we're 2 for 2 on interviews.
Yeah.
both
3.
been-
We had Matt, down at
No,
Best
the
Buy.
live interviews.
Right. Well,
But yes,
he was
3 good.
alive. Matt was alive. He lives in Portland.
He is still.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
hey
doing
Matt.
good.
Hey Matt.
You awake? Glad to hear.
Remember, he didn't want to drive a car. He wanted to drive a scooter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, to our listeners, thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this dribble, this nonsense, this mess
This
of all
nap-
things
this
scooters,
nap
ghosts,
podcast.
and bars. Thanks to Weeknights for the music, and thanks to Scout, Lizard, Pendominono, and just about anybody else that I can put out there. My wife for putting up with me and buying me this really cool Rode Procaster. What is
The
it?
Roadcaster 9000.
For Christmas. Until then, let's be safe out there. Let's be smart. Keep the rubber side down. Do all the things that you're supposed to do, and ride. This is copyright 2020
And ride.
by Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Hey, we're done with this shit.
Hold the little bastards.